How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards and trans rights supporting channel. And if you're not supporting this shit, you can get the fuck out of here. This is Captain Marvel. I have given my predictions on this in Ant-Man and in Infinity War, and I feel like if you haven't heard my predictions at this point, I don't know what to tell you. So, we're just jumping right in. If you want to see the full length, check it out in the description below. The only thing I actually know about this movie, and it's not even about this movie, it's just that Captain Marvel was a character before this. That's assumingly irrelevant to the movie, but I should at least say that. So, really, I know nothing about this at all. Yeah, let's jump into it. Okay, we are here for the discussion of Captain Marvel.
Yep.
I have given a brief, thing right at the end anyway, where I was rambling. So, what did you think about this movie? I also know that your mom's the only movie in the MCU that she has seen, so I also want to hear about that.
Oh, yeah.
Give me both of those.
Okay, so, I've read some Captain Marvel / Ms. Marvel comics. She was the original Ms. Marvel.
Oh, okay.
And I do mostly know her as Ms. Marvel. Like, I haven't really kept up with her recent runs that much.
Gotcha.
So
I know there is also Miss Marvel. Was that title, transferred over, or was it a...
It's sort of a Miles Morales-ish situation where,
they took up the mantle.
Completely unrelated person was like, I really like Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel is no longer Ms. Marvel. I'm Ms. Marvel.
Okay. Yeah, that one's a little bit different because, Miles has very similar, it's not very similar, the exact same powers as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I assume. I actually don't know, but I assume he has the exact same powers as Spider-Man. Whereas Ms. Marvel, I know, is stretchy.
Yeah.
Or, not exactly stretchy, but something like that.
Mm-hmm. I won't go too into her because there is a Disney Plus series coming out.
So
But yeah, it is different in that regard.
Okay.
And I do think it's really interesting that, in recent memory, they've been really trying to hammer home, Carol Danvers is Captain Marvel. And now, because of the success of Ms. Marvel, most people know Kamala Khan as Ms. Marvel instead of Carol Danvers, even though she's been Ms. Marvel for, 50 years.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I knew that, Captain Marvel was not, I know there's a previous Captain Marvel as well before even Carol Danvers, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So it is Carol Danvers in the comics as well.
Yeah.
I assumed, but just want to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I knew that. I didn't know there was, a third, layer in there as well.
I mean, I will tell you, in Marvel, there have been 7 Captain Marvels.
Jesus Christ.
And Carol is number 7.
Okay, I did not know that. Okay, well, we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah, we're doing all the complication stuff at the end.
So, tell me, how did you feel about the movie? How did your mom feel about the movie?
So, my mom really wanted to watch it because she likes Wonder Woman, and a lot of the advertising, a lot of the, people on the news and stuff talking about it as well, kind of pitched it as, this is Marvel's Wonder Woman.
That's what it feels like.
The one DC movie that people really liked was Wonder Woman, and this was the, oh, now Marvel's catching up. So, she was...
this definitely does feel like a DC movie, just in general. When I think of DC, I think of massive destruction and, all the characters are, as powerful as the characters have gotten to be in Infinity War.
Yeah.
How powerful our characters are in Infinity War is as the base level, I assume, a DC character is
Okay.
at. They all just feel like they can blow up a building at any time.
Yeah. And the intro of this movie also feels very DC in that, Marvel tries to be more, grounded, at least up to this point. They've been trying to be more here's Earth, here's everything, it's super realistic.
Yeah.
Whereas this is a big, here is an alien civilization. If you haven't seen any of the other stuff, you don't know who the Kree are. But
Even if you have seen the other stuff, you don't know who the fucking Kree are.
Oh, yeah.
I was lost as hell after this movie. I am still lost, and I don't understand the Kree at all. I feel like I am completely lost on the Kree. I'm really gonna need you to, give a whole, I don't understand the Kree in any way.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I was very curious because this, one of the first things we learned about the movie was that, they're not going to adapt it like the comics exactly. There's not going to be the original Captain Marvel. It's not going to be an Ant-Man situation, for instance, where, even if we don't see him that much, we do have the original Ant-Man, and Scott Lang is the successor, even in the MCU.
Yeah.
Whereas this is a straight-up, the only person with these...
we do have another Captain Marvel, and then we have the only Captain Marvel is not our main character, but we'll get to that later.
You're not wrong!
So it's it's weird. The movie's not named after her.
Yeah, so I was curious to see, how they were going to put all the pieces of this character's history together in a way where you don't need to know anything about the comics. Like, this straight up,
Yeah.
this is her, and also, like, this is, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, something you're probably going to be watching between Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
Like, it's meant for that.
That exact, like, period of time.
Yeah. So, like, how are they going to do that? How are they going to do a satisfying payoff of, like, Fury drops the pager, you see the image, you're like, okay, I guess this is Captain Marvel, but who is she? Why is she not here before? Why is she coming now?
Oh, yeah, did we get the, like, the colors on it at the end?
Yeah.
I didn't even, like, think about that. But, I mean, like, it's red and blue, you know, it's very just American. I figured it was something similar to that. Like, I did think it was Captain Marvel, but I didn't immediately think of, like, oh, that is her colors, which I did. I did know what her colors were. Didn't realize what that meant, and boy, howdy, that might be the worst scene in all of the MCU. I cannot believe, even with everything in Iron Man, they had the balls to go so heavy with the military propaganda in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe they outdid Iron Man. I really can't believe it. It's unbelievable. Also, that scene is just so bad on so many levels. One, in the military propaganda thing, too. Two, on the, like, oh, you're the only one who knows fashion. You should help me pick out my colors. I'll do those colors, right? Okay, yeah, you want me to do those colors? I'll do those colors. Like, she picked the colors.
Yeah.
The girl didn't help at all.
And we do see Monica go through, like, a bunch of other, like, comics Captain Marvel color schemes as well.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big old Easter egg thing.
But yeah, man, this movie is just,
Mm.
whoo, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Let's talk about Carol Danvers as a character.
How did you feel about the movie?
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about that. I was kind of lukewarm about it. My mom was more into it, and I think part of that is because if you haven't seen anything from the MCU, it is a lot easier to, like, watch and go, okay, I'm sure all the stuff's been in other movies. I didn't see those, so whatever. I'm going to assume this all makes sense in context.
Yeah, and just like when you're watching a standalone movie, it's a lot easier to just shut your brain off and let stuff let stuff just be like, whatever. I don't care if I don't know what the hell is happening because it's going to be over in 2 hours, you know, and then there's going to be no more. So,
Right.
But like with something with the MCU, where you know that's when it really bothers me.
Yeah. Like, it did weird me out, and I understood what they were going for most of the movie, but I think specifically, like, all of Carol's flashbacks felt weird because, much like what you said in parts of your reactions, you were waiting for the pathos to come in.
Yeah.
And I never really got that, and that is, like, a general complaint, is that no one feels a lot of, like, pathos for Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And it is this, like, I get, you know, like, the montage, especially at the end, like, the I'm Just a Girl montage, where we see her getting up in all those flashbacks again and again and again. It was a real, like...
It's a great scene. It's a great idea for a scene.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work emotionally.
Like, I fully understand how this should work, but it isn't.
Yeah. It is something I could see them trying to do with Peter Quill, and I'd be like, I don't care. You know, it was the same sort of thing where they show a flashback of, like, a one, frame of him with Yondu, and I'm like, I don't feel anything about him being with Yondu in a father-figure relationship. We didn't see any of that. We were
Right.
just told all of that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, same sort of issue here. You could just show us a couple clips of it, but it's like, that's not enough. And also, watching the trailers, there's even more clips in the trailers that, like, weren't shown wholesale in the entire thing. Like, there was a ceremony that wasn't shown or anything. Like, so they clearly did. Yeah, and that is also my problem of, like, they filmed all this in different locations and different stuff. They had to put on different outfits and everything. This isn't just like, let's take a picture with Quill and Yondu. Click, okay, we'll throw that in. Like, they had to do so much more effort, and so they clearly had to have, I hope, filmed some stuff there. Like the go-kart thing. They filmed, like, a whole go-kart thing, and they used so little of it. It's weird.
Like, to me, it stinks of postmodernism. Like, it stinks of, we know, like, traditionally, this is how you would do, like, the lead up to, this is her entire life, and then we're going to leave it a mystery box as to, like, why she's now on the Kree planets.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, audiences don't want that, though. Whereas if we still have all the footage, but we put it together in an interesting way, and, you know, we use the Skrull, like, memory program to show you bits and pieces, then you can see all the parts, but you don't have to sit through them like a traditional backstory.
Yeah, I think going through the like memory machine with the Skrulls was the most interesting part because I wanted to see the part where it was all going to line up and like what parts were getting mixed in with what parts, something like that, and yeah.
And, like, there are really interesting cuts there. Like, if I were to rewrite the movie, I would keep the memory scene for sure, because it is
Yeah.
like, and like the explosions and stuff, like it's all really interestingly tied together.
It's still wild to me that the go-kart scene happened for real. Like, that was not it was mixed in with a plane crash, or it was mixed in with the, you know, and it was just, yeah, it was a huge go-kart crash, and it didn't mean, like, it was just all, then she fell down and had to get back up.
I too genuinely think that in like however that scene was originally cut, we weren't supposed to see that explosion, but they did it
Yeah.
so that they could like match cut it with a different explosion.
I think so, because it's
Like-
weird.
and like it does work if you see it as, you know, she veers off, and then we don't see the impact, but then we see her on the ground and everyone,
Yeah.
you know, yelling at her.
It's also a weird, like, you know, and then she gets back up to go again, and it's like, well, you shouldn't be in this situation. This is not this is not like the other situations.
Right.
It's kind of out of place among the rest of them.
Hmm.
But yeah, did you want to say anything more about, like, your thoughts when you know, finished the movie, or do you want to move on to Carol?
I guess, like, in general, I would just say, like, it was not my favorite movie coming out of it. I was definitely elated more by the fact my mom was super into it.
Yeah, I'm sure that
Yeah.
that helped a lot.
But to be fair, afterwards, I did say, like, hey, you know, do you want to watch any of the other movies? And she was like, nah. Like, I'll watch Captain Marvel 2 when it comes out, maybe.
Yeah,
So this was not a, like, if you don't like the MCU, check this one out and it'll bait you into it.
yeah, it's just like, you can watch it by itself. Honestly, of all the MCU movies, this was like one that you should just watch by itself, because you could just, like, it's not gonna make sense anyway. I mean, it does make sense. It's just, it's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just that it's very packed. It's so dense.
Yeah.
It's so not fun.
And it is the kind of movie where I could definitely see someone who really likes it watching just it over and over and over again, because there is
Yeah.
so much in it. Like, I'm sure there's tons of stuff you
I'm
can
sure
see
a
on
lot of people
rewatches.
will
and
like this,
whatnot.
especially for the Fury stuff. Like, Fury stuff, again, I'll give this movie this. I have not liked Fury. I've said that he's been an interesting character, but I've been saying that he's been done and we don't need to do him anymore. And, you know, get him out. Take him out. But this is what was needed, actually. I really liked him in this movie. Really enjoyed him in this movie. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I liked him. Really, it really made me not sympathize with him, but, like, it really gave me an idea of the kind of person he is when we don't see him being, like, the, like, Fury that we know
Yeah.
post everything, where he's, like, so much more hardened and, you know, so much more of an
Yeah.
asshole and everything like that. Like,
Mhm.
getting to see him early on like this is nice.
Like, he's definitely one of the characters I think really needed more of a backstory. Like, if they don't do anything more with him, then, you know, not really.
Yeah.
But if he's going to do anything else, then it does help to have this idea of, like, okay, this is what he was like. This is the kind of person that's, you know, still in there on some level.
Yeah. I mean, and even if he doesn't show back up, it's nice to have in retrospect.
Yeah.
You know, I hope, I mean, they're going to revive him and everything like that, of course, but I still hope that he stays retired-ish, you know? We know that he's doing stuff, but it's not like we have to focus on it too much. And, like,
Yeah.
that's good enough for me, you know?
Okay.
Stay retired, Fury. You've done too much. You've lived a long, long life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love, like, I think, you know, a lot of the stuff I liked about this movie is, it was not trying to be like, you know, oh, look how super cool Fury is, and everything. Like, it was endearing me more to him because he was the butt of the joke a lot of times without being, like, too much of the butt of the joke.
Sure.
Like, in the same way, I don't think I would have enjoyed it too much if it was just, like, shitting on Fury the entire movie.
Right.
Because it would feel weird, like, well, why would you, you know, do the first couple times we have Fury and then now do this? But I think, yeah, having him be the butt of the joke without being too much the butt of the joke was
Yeah.
a really nice middle ground to have for him.
And, like, by the end of the movie, it still feels a little forced, but I can understand why she would give him the pager and say, you know, if you really need me, you can call me.
Yeah.
Because, like, we also get a lot of, like, domestic Fury. Like, a lot of Fury just, like, you know, doing chores or, like, washing the dishes.
Yeah, I understand that completely. The only thing I don't understand is the Tesseract on Earth. That feels like just a... we can't not, you know, there's no reason that we cannot not do that. We have to just say, she says you can have the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb, but you really can't do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's prequel, you know, writing yourself into a corner. Like, it's just the way it is.
Right.
But yeah, so that's the only, like, issue I really have, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, how did you feel, like, on the Fury subject, how did you feel about the de-aging they did for his entire body?
Oh, I thought it looked incredible. You know, it was not something that I really thought about at all.
Okay.
You know, which, like, the Tony thing was, like, awful. That was a nightmare. And they're, like, putting a show up in your face and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
But this was totally fine. Didn't even notice they de-aged Coulson, to be fair. He still looks like he's 100 years old.
He's always looked like that, so I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was born looking that. But yeah, I thought they just like put a wig on him and that's it.
Yeah, with Fury and Coulson, they like did an advanced version of what they were trying out with Tony, where like in all of their scenes they had like those like motion tracker dots all over them.
Yeah.
And then they went back to like all the movies they had done and found the image like the movies where they looked the most like they would look in Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Like there's a bunch of stuff where I can never remember Fury's name, even though he's so famous. Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Like he's done a lot of stuff later in life that they couldn't use. There's some stuff where like he's got like a big old like afro and stuff.
Yeah.
Where like the shadows would just look weird. But he did so much stuff that they were able to get a pretty good composite of like this is what he would look like.
I imagine it'd be a lot easier to deepfake stuff like that because the problem with most deepfakes is you have to get a person who looks like the person already, and then you have to get all the like footage of them and everything. But if the person is just the person, if you have the actor there, and then like it is like he's acting and they have to match it to it's the algorithms matching it to all. But like that must be a lot easier than it's something like Tony, which to be fair, he doesn't have like as much. I imagine Robert Downey Jr. does not have as much footage of him being that young as Nick Fury would be at this age.
Yeah, like it's a very specific point in time.
Yeah. Like, deepfaking is really not much of a, like, it's a skill level based thing. It's, I mean, it is, but it's also a lot of, do you just have the resources available? Yeah. And so, I can see why, Fury looked this great. But then at the same time, Coulson, he looked like he was fucking 100 years old, but considering they did de-age him, I'm surprised they had that, level of resources available for that. But I don't know anything about his actor, so maybe he is a famous actor when he was younger. I don't know.
He wasn't like Samuel L. Jackson famous.
Yeah.
But like he did some stuff. They had enough resources to do him.
Okay.
But they also were like, well, he's not going to be in that much of the movie.
And he's also old already in the movie, so.
Yeah.
But what do you want to just move into Carol now?
Yeah.
Boy, the name Carol is it's so weird calling her Carol. But, there was also, in the beginning of the movie, they're doing a, like, who do you see in the Supreme Intelligence? And, they're like, she's, like, guessing, like, some things. And she says, your superior commander. And then he says, Vers. And I thought that he was saying that his superior commander was Vers. And then we see his superior commander, and he says Vers. And I thought that he was saying, my name is Vers, the superior commander. So it took me a while in the movie, actually, to, like, realize that, like, okay, they are saying Vers is in her. Like, I was like, are they? And then it took me a while to, like, confirm, like, okay, that they are saying she's Vers. Took me way, way too long to realize that. Like, it's just the name Carol is so... It's so bland, but again, that's all the new characters in the MCU. Everybody in the MCU is such a lame-ass name. Like, Tony Stark, that's a cool name.
Sure.
Tony is unique enough. It's not, like, super-duper, classic or anything like that. Steve Rogers works as a, like, common man name.
Yeah, like, he's supposed to have that vibe to him.
Yeah. Peter Parker works as that. Like, Scott Lang is a cool name. It's not even, like, Scott Lang would work as a, just regular person name. But, like, Scott is, sure.
Yeah.
But, like, Lang is a cool last name. But yeah, like, most of the other characters that have I'm just, like, Bruce Banner, it's, like, so lame of a name for him just being, like, he's not just, like, a nobody random guy. I mean, he kind of is, but you get the point. It's so, it's from the comics, sure, but it's still so, like, comic names are so lame. They wanted to name every character the common man, lame-ass name thing, and it's so dumb. Like, Luke Cage, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's a name he invented himself, which just makes sense.
I think a big part of it, honestly, is that, like, the movies are going for the more bankable heroes, and also they don't have, like, the X-Men.
Yeah.
And when I think bankable Marvel heroes, I do think of a lot of, like, white person names.
That's true. The X-Men do have a lot of, like, just cooler names in terms of, like, they're just, like, nouns or verbs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, is that their, do they just, like, say, I am Beast now? And, like, they just go by Beast now? Or does Beast also be like, you can call me Beast or you can call me Jason?
It depends on the mutants. Like, some of them do see it as a, like, slave name, real name situation of, like, the world, that person is dead now, I am now Beast, or I am now, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas others are more like, I like it as a code name. That is part of mutant culture, so I'll give myself a name. But you can also use my old one, too.
Yeah, just like a hero name title sort of thing.
Yeah. And it also does the My Hero Academia thing sometimes of, you have, like, Kitty Pryde, who has a very, like, ability-sounding name.
But that is her actual name?
It is really her name.
Okay.
And also, it doesn't really have anything to do with her powers.
I do know the one, like, Megasonic Warhead or something.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah. Is that an actual name?
No, that one's not an actual name.
Okay. Alright, moving on from the names.
Yeah, so Carol.
Yeah. What do we want to talk about here? Like, it's so hard to talk about because there's a lot. This is a very clear example of, like, they knew what they wanted to do with Carol. Like, her personality, the character, and everything. They have a very clear idea of it, and it's very strong in the movie, but it's not backed up at any point. There's not the pathos behind it. We don't see why she's like this. She just is like this.
Right. Like, a big one. I want to know your thoughts on this one. Everyone in the movie, like almost everyone, hits her with the you gotta be less emotional, or show me the smile. Like, it's a lot of like girl suppressy stuff. Do you think that she is too emotional?
Yeah, I definitely didn't get that. Like, I think that's why you say that. And I had a moment of like, oh yeah, I guess that was in the movie.
Right.
Like, it didn't really stand out to me because it wasn't a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I do think it is really weird that part of her big arc is people telling her, you are too emotional, you are too hot-headed. And, like, she does a couple things that are like that. Like, when she blows the hole open in the door.
Yeah.
Like, but a lot of it is just...
I mean, but that wasn't even a hot-headed thing. Like, I thought that she wasn't... that she let Fury do the whole thing with the tape and everything because she didn't want to blow a hole open in the door.
Yeah.
But then she does it later, and Fury's like, oh, you could have just done that the whole time. Enforcing the, like, well, that was the right thing to do. That was not a hot-headed thing to do. She should have done that earlier.
Yeah.
And, like, that was a, weird thing. Like, if they're trying to make her emotional, or if they're trying to say, not like the movie is, but, like, trying to show that other characters see her as too emotional, it never comes across at all.
Right. It's... Because I do think she does play, like, being subdued and being confused about her identity very well. And I don't think they play up the emotion part that well. Like, they play up the, like, she's annoyed that people keep on telling her this. Or, she has no time for shitty guys.
Yeah.
But I don't think they really back up the you're too emotional thing.
Yeah, I really don't think they do.
Yeah.
They don't.
Like, it is the problem of, like, you want a character that is very, she does the right things in the right situations for the most part. She's very competent.
Yeah.
But then you don't get, like, the Peter Quill. Like, Peter Quill is too emotional at times.
Oh, yeah.
And that's backed up because, he really messes up. And you're like, yeah, you are too emotional. You need to change.
Yeah.
Whereas Carol rides this line of, she doesn't really need to change.
Yeah, like, it's a very weird writing choice, and I definitely know why they did it, but, like...
Yeah. Like, the climax is her saying, I don't, like, I'm fine the way I am, and also, these aren't even the powers you gave me. This is all me. I'm going to finally be me. But at the same time, like... It does feel
it's
like...
all hollow.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. Like, this movie had potential to be the coolest MCU movie ever.
Yeah.
All those scenes could have been so fucking cool if they just showed us the damn flashback. This movie has one glaring problem, and it's just show us her fucking life on Earth.
Yeah.
Or also, show us her life on the Kree planet. One of the two.
One of the two.
Either of them. We get neither.
I will agree. Like... I get why they really want to do the, like, we're going to do, like, 20 minutes with her, with the Kree, because we're not going to be able to do that again in the movie. But at the same time, we should have had more if it was going to be a, like, people on the Kree planet do treat her like she's too emotional. They don't, trust her and all that. So,
and they clearly wanted me to be caring about these people on the team and their connections between each other and, like, who is, caring about who, or, like...
Yeah.
And also just, like, the ambush and everything. It's like, I don't care about any of this. This was supposed to be like it actually is. I was like, I don't give a shit. I don't care about any of it. But yeah, I mean, that is the main problem. Just, the pathos is bad. I really was like, okay, this is... The beginning was terrible, but maybe they can make it work out in the end. But no, they just can't.
Yeah.
Now, like in terms of also like other like big
Uh-huh.
things that I like about the movie.
Sure.
They definitely could have written it in a better way of I gotta go find these scrolls at home for more than 20 years.
Mhm.
I thought I was overshooting with the 20 years thing.
Yeah.
But then, we did the math and it's like, no, it's more than 20 years.
I mean, she could have been doing other stuff.
She could have, but it's just like, why?
Hmm.
Like, I guess that's what I mean. Like, it's very Doctor Strange in that, like, the end of the movie and then she just does something that just, I don't get in her character at all.
Sure.
Like, I don't know why she would just be gone for like 20-something years just doing stuff instead of being on Earth and living Earth like it seemed like she wanted to do.
Mm.
Like, all the stuff that she seemed like she wanted to do, she just kind of stops wanting to do that at the end.
Fair. To be fair, like I guess I didn't really see it as her wanting to do that stuff, and more just she had memories of it. She liked it, but at the same time, like I guess I wouldn't say like I don't know what she wants to do by the end.
I guess that's true. I don't know what the hell
Yeah.
she wants.
Like she wants to help the Skrulls find a home, but that's about it. Like I will like I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not saying like it doesn't make sense. I am just saying, due to the writing of the movie, I don't know what she wants.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's I don't get her motivations. And that's the thing. I really like her personality. I think she's a funny character.
Mhm.
I think she's gonna be really enjoyable in like the interactions and everything.
Mm.
And yeah, I just don't. I've said everything else already.
Sure.
What else is there to fucking say?
So, in terms of her strength, like, I remember during Infinity War, you were like, okay, now here's where they bring in the Deus Ex Machina.
Oh yeah. Now I was not thinking that when I was thinking Captain Marvel, I was thinking like they're gonna bring the Deus Ex Machina. He's gonna be very strong, but I thought it was gonna be a very like in the way that Doctor Strange is very strong.
Sure.
I was thinking he was gonna be more like she was gonna do big blast stuff, but she was also gonna do stuff like, oh, Thanos wants to run away, I could just teleport to him. Like, I could do teleport shit, too.
Okay.
And more so, like, Steven, who probably has, like, they have to know where they're going.
Yeah, like, when Thanos skedaddles using the Space Stone,
Yeah.
there's really no counter to that. Like, they can't follow him.
Yeah, they don't know where the hell he went.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, maybe if you can be like, oh, I saw the Nile Ooey Ooey fly in the, portal background there. But, I don't think that they're going to be able to do that.
Right.
So... yeah, I thought that's what it's gonna be, but no, she's just gonna come down here and kick Thanos in the butt, and he's just gonna die.
Yeah.
Now, I also don't know how the hell this is gonna happen because she's just there already. I was like, it's gonna be a big scene in game where they're gonna be like, oh no, we can't do this. What's going on? And the Captain Marvel comes down and goes, die, Thanos. Blah. But no, it does. I mean, she's just gonna be like, all right, let's go, and then we're just gonna go.
Mhm.
I mean, again, we gotta find Thanos.
Yeah.
First, we gotta find Thanos. But still, it's the kind of thing where I don't know how. I thought we were gonna get a battle first, and then she was gonna show up. But it does seem like I don't know why she wouldn't just be like, "All right, everybody, step back." Great, in game's done.
Actually, I guess I will ask. So, in the post-credit scenes, we've had, like, two genres of post-credit scene. One is the, like, this, you need to watch this, or otherwise something else isn't going to make any sense.
Yeah.
The other ones are the, like, this is really important, so we've integrated it into the next movie, or into a different movie.
Yeah.
Which one do you think this is? Like, do you think this is a standalone end credit scene, or do you think this is going to, like, be an endgame?
I think this is gonna be an end game.
Okay.
It's gotta be. It has to be. I mean, it would be insane if it wasn't. But yeah, it's gonna be an end game. It's gonna be around where it starts.
Okay, sure.
About as quick into it as we got like the Doctor Strange stuff in
Sure.
Ragnarok.
All right.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Okay.
So yeah, anything you want to talk about with Carol?
I mean, I've been talking about it through you.
Like, yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I will have some other stuff to say when we get towards the end of the movie, but
Mhm.
like, yeah, I want to save the ending of the movie for like its own thing.
Sure. I think it really is a, like, how do I put this? When she changed in the comics from Ms. Marvel to Captain Marvel, it was also sort of a, like, awakening. It was a, like, I'm going to step up. I'm taking this title which belongs to, this person I really, cared for, my mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, like, she has become more confident. She was confident before, but now she has, like, a new look. And this movie does try to capitalize on the new look. It is the, like, she doesn't... Like, there is no journey to her being like this. She's always been like this, and it is just her, like, taking off the restraints over the course of the movie. The mental ones,
Yeah.
like, everything around her, the societal restraints. And I think that doesn't work that well. In the same way that, like... I can't think of a better like comparison, because I do think that she's the kind of character who needed to have a journey. I know people are tired of the hero's journey, but I do think she needed more of a journey.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think the glaring flaw is not showing the flashback, blah, blah, blah. That's what I keep, coming back to. The movie could have worked so much better if that. I think the journey works fine with that. Didn't need to be at the beginning. Could have done it at any point, as long as they did it. But, that's my point.
I also think that, like, stranding her just on Earth by herself, fighting some of the Skrulls, working with Fury, I'm not sure how well that worked in terms of her characterization. Because
it was fun, but...
it was mostly just, like, people she didn't know about bouncing off of her, until we get to Monica, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's Maria and Monica.
Okay.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's some of the most memorable stuff in the movie, I'm sure, for most people. When they think back to it, I'm sure they remember the going around town and fighting the Skrulls and stuff, the punching the old lady, Nick Fury and all that jazz, and they remember the ending like fight stuff. I'm sure those are the two main things people remember.
But like, I think I would have enjoyed the movie a lot more if she was with the rest of the Kree, and they were like a strike team or something on Earth, because I didn't she wasn't really bouncing off of anyone besides Fury. Fury's the only person she had like a true connection to, because even with Maria and Monica, it was more of a like by that point she was starting to remember her memories, but it wasn't like Veers bouncing off of them. I wanted to see more of like this is what Veers is like, and then this is what Carol was, and then this is Veers is now Carol.
Yeah, I mean they were trying to do that in the ship, for like the very brief scene where they're on the ship, and it's like, cool, they characterized them a little bit, and it's like they characterized them as much as the Warriors 3, which Gala got murdered. So it's like I wasn't expecting. As soon as I saw that we were characterizing them in as little in as little ways and as in very gag kind of ways and very tropey ways as the Warriors 3, my brain was like, well, I'm not caring about these people.
Yeah. Like, I'm not a big fan of the Warriors 3 in the MCU, but if Thor 1 had ended with Thor needing to fight the Warriors 3, it also wouldn't have made much of an impact on me.
Yeah, I'd be like,
And we got more of the Warriors 3.
Yeah.
Like, we did cut between them more.
Yeah, we got way more of them.
Whereas, like, when we cut to the Kree, it was basically just cutting to Yon-Rogg.
Yeah.
And we didn't need that much Yon-Rogg. Like, I guess it was fine for the, the slow build of, is he really on her side?
I mean,
even then.
Dude, who in the movie thought that? Who thought that? The moment he's introduced, you're just like, well, here's our bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they couldn't make it any more obvious. But, I mean, it's also not like where I thought, like, he was going to be our main bad guy or anything. That was surprising in a, they really think that this is gonna, this is gonna hold the audience. It's not. But yeah, it did not work as a main villain.
Yeah.
And having to fight the rest of them, the worst fight in the whole movie. It's just like one after another coming up. None of them fight her at the same time.
And it was the one-on-one. Like, it wasn't like the Skrulls were also fighting the rest of them, and they were just getting to her one at a time.
Yeah.
It was we're just gonna wait around.
We're just gonna sit here in the back and wait. Also, we're all very just not competent and just really shitty at fighting.
Like, I don't know what Like, by the time she fights the rest of the squad, we've seen how powerful Carol can be. So I really thought it would have made more sense if they were all fighting her and, together they were, about equal.
Yeah, and then she was still, she wasn't struggling in that fight. She just wasn't trying at all.
Yeah.
So she just kept getting hit, and it was just because she's just standing around. She's just they'll come at her and she'll just bat, just smack you, and then somebody else will hit her because she's not really defending herself. She doesn't care. So it's what is this scene for? It's not enough to where she's just sort of smacking them left and right to where she's still getting hit and stuff. So it's what's the point of this scene?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to be feeling here? Just all I'm feeling is, okay, move on.
I would have liked it a lot more if they, if they framed it as, they were her friends and, they still think they're the good guys. So this is the, the squad fighting the final boss, but she's the final boss.
Yeah.
I really like, the final fight with Yon-Rogg, where he's like, you can't beat me, you're never gonna be good unless you can beat me without your powers, and then she blows him up.
Yeah, I really like that.
But I think that also feels tonally strange with the fact that she wasn't really using her powers very much when fighting the others.
Yeah.
Because that is like, well, why didn't you do that with all the others? Like, did you care about them more or something? Like, there's a disconnect there.
It's just like she cared about them more. It just seems like she didn't care about the fight in any way,
Yeah.
or cared about leaving the fight to help the others in any way.
Right.
She was just kind of fucking around, and it felt really weird.
Yeah. Because again, if her thing is supposed to be she is the emotional one, I would have expected her to have more of a, like, you know, a breakdown or something, like a, like, I don't want to fight you guys, or a, like, I need to fight you guys, and I don't care if we've been fighting together for years, I'm gonna beat you. But it is just sort of a, like, slap, 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 oh no, I got slapped.
it's yeah, but yeah, I do like the, you know, ending of, like, I don't have anything to prove to you or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like that, I think, like, the most annoying scene to me in Ragnarok is the, like, oh, who are you really? I am the god of thunder. Bah! It's so cheesy. It's so, like, it makes Thor feel, you know, it made me like, I don't know the right word. It just made me, like, care less for Thor. And Thor is still, like, the second on my, like, I love him, you know, so much. But, like, that was just such a, like, man, it made Thor seem real lame. Like, it is that feeling of, like, you know, why do you feel like you have to prove, you know, or not even feel like you have to prove, but, like, why did it take this for you to remember? Like, it took this person, this villain, you know, I don't know. It just feels like giving credit to, you know, a weird, like, motivation instead of just having it come from within. It's
Sure.
like, this person brought it out of me. Like,
I can understand that. Like
he required Hela to break the hammer and to you know, kill everybody in Asgard and then tell him, like, who are you, for him to realize that. And even in all that, it's not a, like, oh, you know, you need to prove yourself, like, who are you without the hammer, not in a, like, kingly sense, or not in a, like, you know, a warrior sense, or any of that sort of, like, are you still good? Will you still do good without the hammer, blah, blah.
Right.
It's just a, are you powerful without the hammer? And that's what we get constantly throughout all the MCU. We got in Avengers, it was a fine thing to bring up. And, I mean, we had it being brought up with all the characters before that, too. But still, in Avengers, bringing up the whole, like, thing with Tony and Steve and everything, of the, like, oh, what are you without the armor? And, you know, all this stuff. It's just, I don't know why we keep doing it up to Ragnarok, and we're still doing this, like, oh, what are you without your powers? And I mean, are you still powerful? I don't mean, are you still a good person, or are you still... I was so excited in Ragnarok for, you know, thinking that, like, with the whole Vision picking up the hammer and blah, 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 it was going to be focused on the hammer, and then the hammer's crushed, and I'm so excited, like, okay, so we are going to focus on what does it mean to be Thor without the hammer, and it's just all power. It's just all power. So yeah, I appreciate that finally we've had a movie that's just like, it's not about the fucking power, it's about the person inside.
right.
So, yeah. Really glad we got that.
So, do you think it makes sense that up until this point, like, either Fury hasn't called her, or if he has called her to Earth, like, we just haven't seen it? So...
I can see why Fury wouldn't have called her up to this point.
Okay.
Probably just because it's Fury and he probably thinks he can handle it. Like, I do think Fury is the kind of person who is like, you know, oh, I'm not going to call it because it could get worse.
And to be fair, I do think, like, it makes sense character-wise for him to not call her during the Chitauri invasion.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to get the Avengers, you know, to be a thing, and he was, like, 1 millimeter away from it not being a thing at all.
Yeah.
Like, he needed the invasion to play out without her, so that he could say, we need the Avengers.
Yeah, I mean, it was essential for his plan. Also, like, at the end here, you know, he might have just been bringing it out to be like, oh, should I contact, you know, Captain Marvel? And then as he just starts to die, he's like, well, okay! Like, you know, we don't see him press it. We just know that he did press it.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know exactly at what point he pressed it. So it could have just been him bringing it out, like, should I? And then as he's dying, he makes the decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, because to be fair, if, you know, if she hadn't come back in all that time, it might be more of like a, well, there's probably something really big she's dealing with that she would be pissed if I brought her back for like a, hey, we got like 3 Chitauri left by the time you got here.
Right.
Like, if he called her for the Chitauri invasion, she would have got there and been like, what do you need help with? Can you help us sweep? So, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to move on to from there?
Let's talk a little about Goose.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
What is there to talk about Goose?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the point of Goose was in the movie.
Mhm.
Like, okay,
Okay.
from a writing perspective, they want to show Fury with a cat.
Classic.
They want to do a comic reference, of course.
Mhm.
A big comic reference, I assume. They want to do a girl and her cat sort of thing, you know.
Mhm.
That's my guess as to why they wanted to do a cat in this movie. You know,
Okay.
there's not really like a plot reason why the cat's in the movie at all. So
Mhm.
it does seem like it was more like aesthetically they just kind of liked the cat being around in the movie.
I mean, I will say there are like two plot things the cat does. Well,
Sure, but I mean,
yeah.
like, there's nothing that like the character of the cat is not plot relevant. As in,
Sure.
like, they could have done other stuff with it.
Okay.
Like, in terms of, like, I could not think of a way for them to do the Tesseract being on Earth any differently than they did. You know,
Right.
but like the cat, I can think of ways they could do it way differently than a cat, which is completely unneeded. So, like that's what I mean.
Sure.
Like, what was their specific reasoning for it being this cat and you know all that sort of stuff when it could have been other stuff as well.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's not a choice around like bad choice, dumb choice. It's just a weird choice.
Okay.
It feels like like the writers knew very well what they were doing, but as an audience, I'm like, what is the point of this cat? Like thematically, what is the point of this cat?
I mean,
What happens to the cat?
Hmm?
Like also, like what happens to the cat? Fury has his alien cat.
Yeah.
And we just don't know where the hell that cat is now. I actually do hope that in game she goes to like get the cat or something. Like Fury still has it.
That'd be good.
I like how, like once again, proving that everyone in Shield are the worst spies on Earth. Fury comes back from this mission with like a claw scratched through his eye
Yeah.
and a new cat, and they're like, "Oh, what happened to your eye, sir?" These fucking agents, these fucking Shield agents.
I mean, I don't know if I would default to. I guess on this mission where he was fighting aliens, also this cat scratched out his eye.
He returns home with a random cat, and he's got a cat scratched eye out. I don't know what is more obvious. Like, it's one thing when it's healed up and it looks like it could have been like a weapon or something,
Sure.
but like in this movie, it is so clearly a cat scratch. You can't make it any less clear that that's a cat scratch. I can't believe that he's wearing like that. It messed up his eye that much.
Yeah.
It was so like it must be that he's just that much of a badass apparently, because it just did not seem to phase him at all until like the end, and then he's like, I gotta wear an eye patch. 'Cause that fucked up my whole eye apparently.
Yeah. So I mean, I think number one appeal for Goose is of course cats,
Sure.
which was a big thing they had to do because Brie Larson famously allergic to cats,
Okay.
which is why there's a lot of the movie where Goose is not in it, like where they had to use CG Goose, or they had
Okay.
to like do animatronics.
I was wondering why the hell they did that.
Yeah, like she could not be in the same shot with the cat at all.
Okay. Because yeah, I was like, why can they not just do this shot with a normal cat?
Yeah. Or I think they did like some compositing where like, she's not moving but Fury's playing with the cat next to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they had to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Actually, because yeah, we did a reaction to Keanu recently, which go watch that if you have not seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there was so much in that felt like they should have been doing a CGI cat, but they were able to do it with just the actual kitten. And then I watched this, and I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Two, like having alien cat does let you do a couple things, like it gets to eat the Tesseract.
yeah.
It is their weapon against Talos. It is the reason why he's completely willing to go along with everything because they're like,
I mean, not really. Like I
mean-
thought that's what we were gonna do, but that's not really.
I mean, I guess it was more that it was why they were more okay with working with him because they were like, well, we do,
Was it?
yeah, like we have a Flerken. We can. You're scared of it.
They never say that or make that like thing that they. No.
I mean, Fury constantly threatens him with that. So.
No, he doesn't. He just says like what's that one scene? Hold on. Okay, so like, yeah, Fury does say like, you know,
Mhm.
they're not like using the cat as any like, you know, means for the alliance, but
Yeah.
just in a like, I don't trust you and I like the cat.
Yeah.
It feels way more like Fury's just trying to have an excuse for like holding the cat.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean it's just like a I don't trust you, so I'm going to keep the cat around.
Mhm.
But it's not like a you're going to be the alliance with us because of cats. But yeah, sure. I kind of see what you're saying,
Mhm.
but not really.
Fine.
Anything else you want to say about Goose?
Uh, this is maybe the first time that they could have done a Star Wars reference, but they didn't.
Okay.
In that, in the comics, Goose's name is Chewie, after Chewbacca, famous Star Wars character.
Okay. Yeah.
But there, I don't actually know what the rationale was for changing it. I think it was just like, yeah, it was that in Marvel and all the like the flashbacks there would have happened prior to Star Wars coming out.
Ah.
And they didn't want to fudge the timeline that much, so they were like, okay, well, Goose needs a different name. That's still a pop
Wait,
culture
when did
reference.
Star Wars come out?
Mid 90s or mid 80s, I believe.
And when were the flashbacks? How
Uh,
old is this cat?
I mean, it's pretty old.
Yeah, I guess like the only
Yeah,
time we
'cause-
first hear its name is in the airport, right?
Yeah,
Like the earliest
It's-
timeline wise we hear its name.
I believe so, but it still has the collar on it when Marvel picks it up in the flashback.
Okay. Okay.
So like we don't see the name, but we know like it's got to be the same cat.
Okay. Never mind then.
Mhm.
I mean, it could have had a different name. She could have renamed it after Star Wars came out. And renaming it Chewie. But sure.
Yeah. And I will say, like, the cat's never that plot relevant, even in the comics. Like, basically the exact scene with Talos and, Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
like, the same thing plays out, except it is her and Rocket Raccoon.
Okay.
Where she just has this cat, and they're hanging out, and then Rocket's like, what the fuck is that? That's a Flerken, get it away. And, like, they have, like, an issue or two of just, like, this ain't a Flerken, it's a cat, you dumb idiots. And then Chewie lays, like, 1,000 eggs, and they're like, oh shit, I guess it is a Flerken.
Okay. I think like what is weird to me is that it's like it feels like they were trying to make it more plot relevant than something like Lockjaw from the Humans or something.
Sure.
So like that was weird. Like there was so much focus put on the cat, and also so much focus put on just the cat.
Right.
Like where we would focus on nothing but the cat. And I think that was what kept making me like, so we're doing nothing with the cat in the movie? Like, there's no, like, twist really with the cat. I mean, the twist is that it is a Flerken, yes.
Yeah.
But, like, there's no, like, plot, like, twist, like, you know,
Yeah.
oh, the cat knew something, the cat had this on it, or something like that.
Yeah. Like, it really is just Marvel was an alien and had an alien cat.
Yeah.
That is also extremely dangerous.
I have no idea why the hell the cat was in that facility. Like that was a big red herring, and I have no explanation for why that was the case at all.
Just hanging out, you know.
I don't like. I assume this thing has either been eating shield agents or not shield agents, eating whatever that was.
Yeah.
What was that? I mean, it was a NASA and something joint thing, but like, do they have a specific name for it?
I mean, we just basically get Project Pegasus.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
Cats.
Yeah, but just that the fact that like the cat was in the bunker, I have to assume it was either eating the agents down there or it just does not need to eat to live because it was down there for years.
I mean, if it can digest the stuff it eats over a long period of time, it just needs like one human every once in a while.
I guess so. I mean, I don't care. Eat them up. What do we want to talk about next? Let's talk about her friend.
Before that, though,
Sure.
I just want to say it on camera. So, Project Pegasus. Did you remember that it was...
I didn't remember it during the movie, but then once you were like, do you remember Project Pegasus? I was like, oh yeah, that was the like, it was like the, shield way of like the PEG, all that Pegasus stuff. We saw it in Avengers. It was the place they go to in Avengers 1.
Yeah.
With the Tesseract portal and all that.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess that is the same place, right? So Pegasus is just a place.
It is, and like specifically Project Pegasus is like just, the project experimenting on the Tesseract.
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Like, it was
I didn't
originally...
really connect the two, but yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Like, it's all travel / teleportation, whatever.
Right.
Like, this one was Lightspeed Engine, but later on it's just teleportation.
Because, when they brought up Pegasus, I was like, that sounds familiar, but again, maybe I've just heard it in the ethos. That's always the problem. Like, I don't know. It's like, oh, did I hear this from a previous movie, or did I just hear this from somebody in the world somewhere?
Right. It's...
But, yeah, I think... let's move on to our friend.
Sure.
I got nothing to say. It felt very like this movie. I'm sure white women loved this movie. It's a very pro white woman movie, and I feel like that they realized that, and they were like, "Oh, let's throw in a black side character to make it not feel like this movie is so extremely pro white women and ignoring everything else about any other kind of woman that's not a white woman." Like, it is a very, very white woman kind of story to be the, oh, I just gotta pull myself up by the bootstraps and get back up and ignore all these men, and, I just gotta make it for myself and everything. It's a very, I can ignore, I can... ignore all the shitty stuff that happens to me because I'm a woman because of my white privilege. And so if I just lean into the white privilege, I can ignore the gender problems I have.
Right. It's...
Oh, big brain blast. But yeah, it's really... again, I can't... this movie is just worse than Iron Man even in terms of, just Iron Man... Good movie, still horrible military propaganda and just really trying to make you sympathize with war criminals and shit like that. And this movie, somehow, even worse messages. Somehow, how the fuck? How do you do that? Man, unbelievable. But yeah, do you have anything to say about her friend?
I mean, I like her as a character. I do wish they had leaned more into her because, she has all the exact same problems, all the same societal problems as Carol, except she's also a black single mother.
Yeah,
and we don't really touch on it very much
at all. I mean, again, it is if we just show you it, is that enough pathos? That's a lot of what this movie is. Just if we tell you or show you, is that enough?
Right. Yeah, I don't really ship them.
Yeah, no. I feel like they were trying to go for something like that too, and it's just this movie felt very pro white women, and I'm sure it's very it's very queer baity as well. I'm sure a lot of white queers love this movie, but yeah, a lot of queer baiting that was garbage. I hated it. Nothing I hate more than queer baiting.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I've been going through this process over the last year, honestly, of realizing, the things I liked that I thought were representation were just baits, but nothing else existed that was representation when I was younger.
Dude, I'm so fucking... I saw on Twitter weeks ago of the Marvel being I don't remember if they confirmed or whatever. It was just Peter Quill is bisexual or might be, or we're gonna do that in a future movie or whatever. And it's Peter Quill? I don't want that. I don't want Peter. I want Peter. Give me a new character. Why? Just give me a new character. Or just do it well.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
Marvel Studios, specifically Marvel Studios, has had a pretty rough deal with it trying to do a representation in any way. Specifically in a way where, it does seem it feels like they are having a ton of problem with things that they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, we are still, thank God coronavirus canceled it, the fucking New Mutants thing with the safe space and Snowflake and all that shit. They just... cannot. They just can't. Marvel is impossible at doing representation. They flub it no matter what direction they go in. They do the worst possible choice every time. Oh, fuck. But seriously, we have so many characters already. We have so many women in the MCU already that need more development and more screen time and all this fucking shit. And it's already people are saying that our women are written bad, and what they're saying that they're written bad is they're not powerful enough. Everybody looks at Wanda and they go, she's not powerful enough. It's not that she doesn't have screen time or that all of her character development is written around a robot who likes to look like a white man. No, it's that she's not powerful enough. Oh,
Actually, okay, so I'm gonna hit you with this. It might take a second to wrap your brain around this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a lot of people like to pair up the movies of Black Panther and Captain Marvel as like, this is the first time that Marvel Studios did a black, like a main character who is black. It is a black man led movie. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then Captain Marvel is the first white woman led movie. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I want to know, how do you feel about them compared to Marvel TV's first, led by a black man series, Luke Cage, and their first led by a white woman, just a woman series, Jessica Jones?
Yeah. Yeah, because I wouldn't count S.H.I.E.L.D. as that, because
Yeah.
this guy was not really the actual protagonist.
Mhm.
It really felt like that, but then they quickly went, no, she's actually the bad one. But yeah, reverse,
Uh-huh.
Black Panther, amazing. Captain Marvel, shit. Jessica Jones, amazing. Luke Cage, not shit, but just way worse than Black Panther. In
Lots
terms
of ups and downs.
Yeah, very mixed, very mixed. Yeah, so I think the main difference is, of course, that Jessica Jones is all about giving her a hell of a lot of character development and
Yeah.
making her a really fucking good character instead of just making her an extremely powerful character. And it's not all her revolving around just men and what men think about her and all that.
Right.
One specific one with Kilgrave and everything like that,
Mhm.
but and it's very consent focused and everything like that. And
Yeah.
it brings up a lot of the stuff with this, but there's pathos behind it, and it's not just we're just going to show you or just shove a bunch of the stuff in and not really do anything with it.
Right.
We're actually going to have the entire season be about it and be about consent.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's very telling just in how they marketed Black Panther versus how they marketed Miss Marvel. Where it's
Uh-huh.
like they market Black Panther as it's a movie that's really good and you should go see it because it's a movie that's really good.
Uh-huh.
And it's like just through the marketing in general, you don't need to do more marketing. Black people are going to look at this and go, it's a movie with all black people. This is for me. You don't need to tell them this is for you.
Right.
They know it's for them. Whereas you look at the trailers for Miss Marvel and it's a lot of a hero.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that sort of stuff. And it's like, why? When you have to tell somebody that the movie is for them,
Right.
probably not going to be good representation.
Yeah.
If you don't trust that your trailer is going to let them know that, then yikes, you're not doing a great job.
Yeah.
And oh fuck, the trailer is just awful. The trailers are the worst trailer Marvel's had. The ending of the trailer does the parody, the thing that so many parodies of movie trailers do, where the Inception sound of the
Yeah.
The end of Captain Marvel does it's like, how is this not a parody? It's so laughable. It's like someone just playing an air horn. Just it's the worst. Oh. But yeah, also Jessica Jones having her friend character, her side character, also having a hell of a lot of development that spends a ton of the series on. And this so little, nothing. But the only time we see her in flashbacks is flashbacks with Carol,
Right.
and it's more just, oh, she was in that plane over there. What a great flashback! I know so much about you now. You also flew a plane.
It's a real, this is my one friend. I have to go find my one friend again.
Yeah. Whew. Boy. Yeah, I think the Black Panther, the difference between Black Panther and Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel could not be any clearer. It's night and day.
Yeah.
Do you know what the staff of this movie was, by the way? The writers and everything? Did they get a bunch of women writers?
They did.
I assume probably all white women writers, but still, at least they did. At least they did.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know the makeup. I assume it probably was all white women.
Almost certainly. I mean, and, even then, it's going to be probably a lot of, backlash of, what we want and blah, blah, blah. And, they're probably going to get a hell of a lot more backlash for this movie than they would Black Panther, because Black Panther, they, wanted, they seem to actually want to do it more, whereas this, they kind of had their, foot in the door. They're like, we want to do a woman-led movie, but we're just kind of, we want it to be more masculine in
Yeah.
how we're doing it.
Like, one of the big controversies of Marvel Studios is, why hasn't Black Widow gotten a movie?
Yeah.
And even here, like, people thought she was going to maybe, like, it wasn't on the slate for Phase 3, but people thought, like, okay, like, they're in the works, like, we've heard buzz about it, maybe they'll do it in Phase 3.
Why wasn't Black Widow in this movie? Because she's in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
She should have just... Why couldn't she have just been in this movie?
They could have. I mean, honestly, I would have, like, as much as I like the Fury stuff in this movie, I would have liked it more if it was Black Widow.
Or just take out Coulson and make it
Sure.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
You know? Like... Yeah, it's... Especially because Fury was, like, out of all the, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, I mean, like, that's
Yeah.
a bad word. You know, out of all the, like, people who weren't, like, mostly bureaucratic, like Maria Hill or something.
Yeah.
Like, Natasha was the one who is, like, closest to Fury, the one that he trusted the most and all that. If we saw why that was in this
Yeah.
movie, like, the reason is because she was involved with all this stuff. She's one of the only other people who knows.
Yeah.
You know? That would be... And then also, we could have connections where she shows back up and be like, oh, hey, I remember you. You were cool. What happened to Fury?
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, I mean...
No, yeah. I mean, well, after we get him back.
Well, actually, she's still around.
Wait, is she?
Yeah. She's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did get snapped.
Yeah, she is.
Mhm.
So yeah, they could have had a, you know,
Yeah.
it feels like a missed opportunity.
Mhm. I can only assume they didn't want to pay her.
Probably.
Because
Almost certain.
I will also say, she is, I believe, the director of Black Widow.
Okay.
Like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. I mean, I assume she's probably, like, one of the most highly paid actors in the Avengers under, like, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. Actually, I don't believe so. I believe she is very underpaid.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Hollywood.
I mean, yes. But, like, you know,
Yeah.
like, I know, Pepper's actors, you know,
Mhm.
incredibly, you know,
Oh, yeah.
highly paid and everything like that. But, yeah.
Mhm.
And she's barely in them.
Yeah. Moving on from Maria for a second. Her daughter, Monica.
For a second. Are we going back to her? What else is there to say?
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, her daughter, interesting writing choice, because I don't believe Maria is a character in the comics.
Okay.
Monica is the third Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Like, not a Ms. Marvel. She was Captain Marvel, 4 Captain Marvels before Carol was.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Was she black in the comics?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Dope.
But interesting poll that's, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Real interesting.
Like, I don't know if it is going to be a, like, oh, well, we want to recast her at some point, so we're going to set her up as a character, and then she'll be this another Captain Marvel?
I don't know. But yeah, the kid hated her. Absolutely hated her. Terrible. Worse than Scott's daughter in Ant-Man
Okay.
1.
Is Scott's... You did like Scott's daughter in Ant-Man 2, though, right?
I really liked Scott's daughter in Ant-Man 2.
Yeah.
Did not like Scott's daughter in Ant-Man 1.
Fair.
Did not. Complete plot device. This character, plot device times 100.
Mm. She had the really strong, precocious child, like, oh, you gotta love me.
You gotta go into space and die, Mom. Classic child thing.
Yeah. Actually, one last thing about Maria.
Yeah.
We do get a flashback where Maria and, like, when they're kids, where Maria and Carol are, like, you know, laying down, looking at the stars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
They see a meteor fly by. People have tried to line up the timeline, and you could say that might be them looking at, of course, Peter Quill being abducted. Like, it,
Sure.
It kind of lines up.
Okay, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Like, it's not a statement or anything.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, fun fact. Maybe.
Cool.
Fun lie.
Fun lie! Oh, boy. Okay, I got a lot to talk about the Skrulls, but, you know, do you want to talk about anything before that?
Just gonna mop up a few characters we're not gonna get back to.
Yeah.
So, did you really like Ronan? You have to see Ronan again?
If they didn't tell me that was Ronan and he didn't have his hammer, I would have no idea that was Ronan. They took away like all of his identifying characteristics.
Yeah.
Or like features, I mean.
And they don't really set him up as Ronan. Like, he is an accuser, and it is always like, we're going to have the accusers do this, or, we're going to have Ronan do it, but it is like, he's acting on behalf of the accusers.
Yeah.
It could have just been any accuser.
Yeah, it could have just been. It felt so. It felt very Star Wars. Again, as someone who's never seen Star Wars, it felt very Star Wars.
I know you don't want to see them, but I'm going to have to strap you down at some point. You keep on saying, this feels very Star Wars, or this is a Star Wars reference. I'm like, I don't know. You don't know what Star Wars is.
I don't know what Star Wars is, but I like to be able to very confidently say, I feel like this is very Star Wars.
But yeah, it does have the very prequel energy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't lean into it more, because, when I first saw the movie, I thought they were going to do a thing of, he sees this is the power of an Infinity Stone. If I also had an Infinity Stone, I would, be that powerful. But, they don't. And as far as I know, I don't think he knows that Captain Marvel's powers came from an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he would have eventually, maybe. Like, the Kree know that. But
It's
it's a very, loose thing.
Yeah. I think, if the Kree were really hankering to get at Earth way more, and, we showed that, the reason why they haven't attacked Earth is because Captain Marvel was there and they were scared shitless.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't fucking work at all. The whole scene, I guess we're just talking about that whole end scene now.
Sure.
That whole scene is so bad. It's so dumb. It should be so fun. It should be so much. I should be going, this is so cool. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, when she's, punching through all the ships?
Yeah, when she's punching all the ships, when she's just, flashing her powers in front of Ronan and all that.
Uh-huh.
It should be the coolest thing ever, but the whole time, all I'm thinking is, how are we, nobody has mentioned this on Earth. Nobody has ever brought this up. And this is it's the problem I have with Infinity War, where there's these huge-ass ships right over Earth, and nobody seems to be able to see it. It feels like there's just a huge ceiling over Earth that people can't see out of.
I mean, I'm not going to defend Infinity War, because I do think, that's actually invading cities and stuff. But with
Yeah.
this one, they're over, an empty military wasteland.
What do you mean they're over Earth? They're not over an empty military
I don't
wasteland. We see down, it's
Yeah.
like a whole continent.
Hmm?
I
mean, I'm not saying they're not, over America. They are. But, I don't think you could see anything from there.
I don't know what you mean by you can't see anything
I mean,
from there.
they're situated specifically over, the area where Project Pegasus was, which is this, super empty area where they could, presumably do,
Do
testing
you
and
think
stuff.
that Pegasus is a quarter of the Earth's size?
No, but I do think that you wouldn't be able to look up and see these ships.
Are you
They're
saying
so
that you would
far
not be
away.
able to look up and see the moon?
They're nowhere near the size of the moon.
Right, they're closer than the moon.
And there's tiny. I mean, not tiny, minuscule tiny, but they're the size of, giant oil tankers, which aren't that big.
So you can see satellites
Yes.
from space.
Mhm.
Is that enough?
You should be able to see the explosions from the ships in space.
That is what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're talking about Ronan. We're done talking about Ronan.
Uh-huh.
Who else is next?
Do you remember Korath?
Korath, of course. He was Ronan's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait. Wait, was he? Who was Korath? He was the guy who had the little ridges on his head, right?
He was the one black guy.
He was Kree, right?
Yeah, the one black guy on the Kree away team on Star Force.
I don't remember what that is.
Star Force is the group that Carol was a part of,
Oh wait.
with Yonrok and everything.
Oh wait, but we've seen Korath before, right?
Yeah,
But okay, so he was also on this team?
yeah,
Oh, I didn't even fucking recognize him. Wait,
I mean-
he was that guy? Wait, no, I do know who you're talking about. He was that guy?
yeah. He shows up in Guardians to try and take the orb from Peter,
Yeah.
and then they have a fight with him on Ronan's ship, near the climax of the movie.
Huh. He looks so different.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay.
As far as I understand, they didn't de-age him or anything. They were just he's such a minor character, no one's gonna notice.
Just gonna make a completely different design. All right.
Yeah, he's everyone else on the team is just new characters, but they did decide to bring him back specifically as that character.
Big old prequel energy.
How did you feel about the Supreme Intelligence?
I couldn't give a shit about it at all. It was a whole it tells Supreme Intelligence that when I come back, I'm gonna kick its ass, and I'm just like, I don't want to see that. I don't care. I really don't care about the Kree at all. I really don't care. The MCU has done an excellent job at every movie making me, assuring me that I do not care about the Kree. Every time the Kree shows up, I go, yeah, they're so lame and I don't care. they're very boring. They're just like
Yeah.
Earth. It's just Earth too.
Yeah, like they are more warlike. At least we hear that. But then again, like she does work for the Kree military.
Yeah.
In the same way that like if you were with the American military, you'd be like, yeah, we are brave warriors.
I also just like they're very just not distinct looking. Like
Sure.
just literally anything could be Kree.
Yeah.
I mean, like if Thanos was like, by the way, I'm Kree, I'd be like, okay, there's nothing I have
Yeah.
to disprove that. I don't know what a Kree looks like.
I was very surprised because, so in the comics there are blue Kree and pink Kree, yeah?
Okay.
And like general.
So wait, of all
Yeah.
the pink people in Kree, we had so many pink people.
Now, when I say pink, I do mean looking like a white person.
Oh, okay.
We,
So you don't mean like the pink aliens?
no, not
you've
those
seen.
guys.
Okay.
those guys are different.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like the Kree have this whole thing where they tried to steal a rock, and then the rock was like, "No, your evolution's gonna be stopped forever."
Oh, that was the Rock and Shield I seen.
Maybe, probably not.
I don't know. I'm
Probably
just-
not.
You say Kree,
Yeah.
you say Rock. I think of the one Kree Rock I know.
Fair. But yeah, like it is this big thing of the blue Kree are the pure-blooded ones, and then the pink ones / the ones that look like white people are like they're like Kree people who tried to interbreed with other races to try and like surpass the curse of no evolution.
Okay.
And so like the blue tend to be what people think of as Kree, and then the like pink ones tend to be more like dumb brutes or slaves or whatever.
Sure.
Whereas in this movie, they do kind of like in the background shots especially, they do go for more of a blue is just a race of Kree,
Yeah.
But there are like white people and black people and Asian people who are all Kree.
Yeah, there's a lot of, stuff like that. But
Yeah. Like, I mean, never against diversity, but for Kree specifically, it feels like a big like.
I mean, it
I
feels
don't-
really weird because
Yeah.
they don't do it for any of the other alien races.
Yeah. Like it does make it feel like Kree are just people,
Yeah.
or specifically that they're humans.
Yeah. Yeah, it was also like we even had like a thing in Shield of like a Kree coming to Earth and having to change their skin pigment and all this with some technology stuff, and it's like, all right, well, you just be pink, I guess.
Yeah, everyone's just like that.
All
Like,
right.
I can only assume they did that because they didn't want to tackle the question of like, well, do we have Veers believe that she is Kree, or do we do something else there? But even then, they could have just said she was like a hybrid.
Yeah, like they don't really talk about it at any points.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it just feels like a weird choice.
Yeah.
I liked the shots of Hala that we got, but again, didn't really do a lot there.
Yeah. I don't know if I like the shots we got. It
Really?
was I mean,
I thought they were pretty distinctive.
looked like generic alien planet to me. Yeah, you want to talk about the Skrulls?
Sure.
I think the Skrulls are really cool. I know about them from the comics. I think they're like I have read the first like 2 Fantastic Four issues, so like
Yeah.
that's where I know them from.
You saw the famous thing where Mr. Fantastic hypnotizes them into believing that they're cows
Yeah.
on a farm where they will be slaughtered.
Yep. And we got Skrull milk out there.
Got Skrull milk, got Skrull meats.
Anyway,
Uh-huh.
I think they're a really fun concept. Like even in the comics, I think they were fun for like the 2 things I saw them for.
Uh-huh.
Them being the like villains of this movie or whatever
Uh-huh.
was so just like nothing to me.
Okay.
Like when I was supposed to believe they were the villains, like they were who were fighting everything,
Uh-huh.
it was a very just like okay, we want to do an 80s body snatcher sort of,
Sure.
or I guess 90s body snatcher sort of thing, and they don't really want to focus too much on giving them to like our main guy. I was like, they're giving him characterization, but they're not giving him that much characterization. It really feels like they just kind of want to do the body snatchers thing, and we're not supposed to, care too much about like, oh fuck these guys,
Uh-huh.
they're evil, whatever. So then when they do the like, by the way, we're the good guys,
Uh-huh.
Kree are the bad guys. It's a very like, okay.
I see.
It's like oh, that's a cool twist. Glad they did that. But I'm not like, oh wow, they're the good guys. I never would have thought that. It's not something where it was a big twist because they didn't really make me care about the other side, like the
Sure.
thing they were setting up for. You know?
Yeah.
So it's not that it's not that I saw it coming or that I thought that might be the case, but just that when it happened, it was just like oh, okay.
Right.
And so I really like the Skrulls in this movie, but yeah, it's just kind of like, yeah, they're there, they're there. I like the main guy, I like Science Guy, but I mean, they're just there. They're just kind of there.
Yeah, it sounds like they were lacking in pathos as well.
I like everything in this movie, but I mean, they had some more. I really like. I think the character with the absolute most pathos in the movie was the main Skrull guy.
Yeah, Talos.
Talos, yeah. Yeah, he had most pathos out of any character. There was many moments where I was like, oh, I actually felt some emotion there.
Right. Yeah, I remember when I was watching it, it felt a little telegraphed to me, specifically because we did the Kree are the soldiers storming, like, you know, these, you know, like, innocent people who don't have a lot of technology, like, in the first 20 minutes, before we were supposed to believe that they were Skrulls. It was immediate, like, okay, so these guys are definitely wrong.
Yeah.
And then when the Skrulls show up, it isn't a, like, oh, the Skrulls were secretly, you know, hiding really, really powerful stuff. It was, like, they had, you know, the memory technology, which was a big twist. But apart from that, it just seemed like nothing about them seemed aggressive.
And it wasn't even like a big twist.
Yeah.
Because, like, that was supposed to be the, like, oh, that's how they got the password and everything like that. I didn't even connect that until later, where I was like, oh, I just thought they had that technology. You told me nothing about the Skrulls. I don't know that this is not something they're supposed to have.
Okay, fair.
But, yeah, so... yeah, like, we just go in there, like, they're just, the Kree are just being assholes, and then there's the Skrulls just are there, and they shoot Skrulls, and then we're like, and then she escapes, and it's like, okay. Like, again, it felt very video gamey, where it's like, you know, I guess I'm just not supposed to care about these guys at all. I guess they're just supposed to be little goblin boys.
Right.
But, so that's why I was surprised the movie was like, okay, so the movie did want me to give a shit about them. Okay.
Yeah. One thing I think he did maybe miss, not totally sure, was that the Skrulls were intentionally dropping to the city in Carol's memories. Like they weren't just bailing out when the ship was exploding. They were specifically going there because they had that location from her memories.
Wait. Say that again?
So when when the ship is exploding and there are a bunch of Skrulls just
at that
leaving,
point. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they are intentionally going to her city. Which is why that's also the same city where she's like, oh, I remember this place. I'm getting flashbacks. Like, it wasn't just a random, like, dropping on Earth and she happened to be there.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I did think that was coincidental, but okay, yeah, so they were going to the place for her memory specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, did they have those exact coordinates or whatever?
No. Because,
like how do they know it's that city?
That one I'm not totally sure about.
Because, like, all they know of is, like, we're going to C-53 or whatever the fuck the planet was called.
Yeah, C-53, and then they were trying to puzzle out the other coordinates, the ones for Mar-Vell's base.
Yeah. But, like,
I
don't think they got... I'm not sure if you're right about that. I don't think they actually, you know... I think it is just coincidence that they showed up in that exact city.
Maybe.
Because, like...
Because...
I don't know how they would have gotten that.
Yeah, because the pieces of information we get for sure are her name. They look at the coordinates, but they're just blurry.
Yeah.
They see the location, but yeah, you're right. They don't get, like, specific coordinates for the city or anything.
Yeah. And I don't think they say it or anything, but either way, whatever. Not a big deal.
Okay.
But yeah, I first thought you were trying to say that when they were leaving the ship, it was because they were going down her. But, like, I'm pretty sure that was also because the ship was exploding.
Yeah, no, the primary thing
pretty much just trying to take down the big ship there.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I do like the Skrulls. I mean, like, that should have maybe clued me in a little bit more, but, like, I am glad that they had the Skrulls be so not just, we're gonna die on the ship, or we're going to just keep fighting you for no reason. Like,
yeah.
As soon as they realized she was powerful, they're like, alright, we're gonna stop. We're just gonna run. But yeah, I like the chill aliens, like Talos and all the other ones.
Yeah.
All the other Skrulls. But I think it also felt a little bit similar to, like, the end of Ragnarok and everything. Like, it's kind of very similar of the, well, okay, let's find your new home.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel was definitely going for, like, in this time period, like, we gotta say something about immigrants and, you know, home and, you know, having a land of your own.
Yeah, like, not doing a great job of it, but at least they're trying.
They're trying.
I'll give Marvel props for constantly trying, even if they fucking mess it up every goddamn time.
I mean, as you may have guessed from the intro, this is the first movie to have a Stan Lee cameo after he'd passed away.
Okay, so like did they? Well, I mean, they would have had to film that when he was still alive.
Yeah.
But like they included it after he passed away. Is what you mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so in game, I'm curious about. I really like the intro with the Stanley, anniversary. That was really cool.
Yeah, they did the same thing for Chadwick Boseman in like the specifically the Marvel Plus version of Black Panther,
Oh, okay.
where like when the script shows up, it is like in this one it is a Stan Lee line on the script. In the Chadwick Boseman one, it is a Black Panther line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool tribute thing.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah. This is also the first Stan Lee cameo in which he is Stan Lee in the MCU.
Okay.
Specifically, if you look at him, he is reading the script to the movie Mallrats, which is it's part of the View Askew universe, of course, if you know about that. Same thing as the Clerks 2.
Okay.
Yeah. In it, he has a very extended cameo. Like, he is a part of the movie. He is really important.
Gotcha.
And,
But yes, they're just like lining it up timeline-wise with his
Yeah.
real life.
Yeah, like, he would have been canonically reading that script at that moment.
Did they de-age him?
They may have, actually.
I don't think so.
I don't think they used the dots. But yeah, in non-MCU Marvel movies, there's at least one other one where he does play Stan Lee specifically. But this is the only time in the MCU where he has been Stan Lee. Whether it is that is literally Stan Lee, or whether it is the Watcher informants pretending to be Stan Lee.
Or if it is just, the Watcher informant was Stan Lee and then he got wrapped up in that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that the scene, like, in universe is really weird. It makes no sense, but I like it as a tribute.
Maybe she likes the Watcher informants. Maybe she was like, yeah, I like this dude. I've seen him before. He's done cameos on Hala.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Captain Marvel should have been a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have done a lot better with it if it was just a TV show.
I can see that. Like, especially with the whole being stranded thing, that feels like a big, like, Marvel TV move of, we don't want to show you a lot of powers and stuff. Like, we're going to do, like, a few explosions per episode.
Or like the blockbuster stuff and all that really makes me feel like this should have been a TV show. Her personality really feels like it should have been a TV show. If they didn't want to, give us the pathos for it.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to, like, Jessica's backstory. We get throughout the whole thing very slowly and everything. But because we're actually, like, it's a TV show and we have much more time to stick with her, we see much more of her personality in the way that they wanted to do for this movie.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Like, I think Jessica Jones would be a bad movie, because you can't do that and the Kilgrave stuff all in 2 hours and have it be really good.
Yeah.
Or, like, you'd have to make her much more, like, she does a lot of being scared, a lot of, like, I don't want to do this, I'm going to move away from this, I do not want to interact, and you can't really do that in a movie without it being, kind of annoying.
Yeah. Man, yeah, also comparing this to, like, the first Avenger, has so much pathos for Captain America in the beginning and everything, and if it didn't have that, if it started with Captain America being Captain America and then having, like, memory problems and it would not be a good movie.
Right.
Seeing what makes him that person all the way up to that point is, yeah. So, we've said that a billion times.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say before we get into the big old end trivia stuff?
Nah. We good.
All right. Let's jump into it. Tell me about that old trivia!
Oh, boy.
Tell me about the 18 Captain Marvels.
Okay, so let us go back to 1939. Got a tiny little comic book company known as Fawcett Comics getting into the superhero business. It's booming. They want to do it. They specifically want to do a team of 6 heroes, each of whom gets one power from a mythological figure.
Okay.
They then go, we don't know how to do a team, so what if it was just one guy? But he still has all those powers. They're like, okay, sounds good, let's do it. He's gonna have a big red outfit, he's gonna have a lightning bolt on the front of it. We're gonna call him Captain Thunder.
Okay. Now,
yes.
I do know
Uh-huh.
that becomes Shazam, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Captain Thunder, they start printing it, they're like, wait, no, that doesn't sound cool, because people are going to think he has electric powers, when he also has, like, super strength, and he can, like, fly, he's got, like, super wisdom. So we need a name that is going to be really, cool. We need something that, is very broad, but is very, like, I like this guy, he's badass. So they call him Captain Marvel.
Okay.
So, Captain Marvel is a little kid named Billy Batson who does not transform. Instead, he learns that a wizard tells him that if he says the word Shazam, he will be teleported out of reality and replaced with a cool hero called Captain Marvel.
Okay.
They are not the same person.
Okay.
So, this is now.
That is some real old comic shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's so weird, the difference between like Japanese or just like also like Korean, like Eastern Asian isekais or like wish fulfillment sort of thing versus like Western wish fulfillment sort of thing. It's a very like, I want to go to another world where I have all these superpowers. It's really in Japan, you are Captain Marvel. You are in another world, you get teleported in. In the Western, you are Billy. You just go, I wish somebody was here to fight my battles for me.
Captain Marvel was the biggest hero of World War II. Like, bigger than Captain America, bigger than Superman.
Damn.
That is important, because the rest of this story hinges on you understanding that people really liked Captain Marvel in World War II, and not really after that.
Okay. So, like, even more than, like, Captain America and
Yeah.
all that. Damn.
Like, and also, the comic industry was massive in World War II. So, like, there was still enough for, like, Captain America to be enormous and to make tons of money. And Superman made tons of money.
Yeah.
But Captain Marvel was the biggest.
It's crazy because I've never heard anything about it.
So, Fawcett's was sued by National Comics. National Comics owned Superman. And they were like, this is how you know it was really early. They were like, this guy who is strong and can fly is a ripoff of Superman, who is the only hero who is strong and can fly and also has other powers.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, they definitely were doing that. Like, I mean, all ideas come from somewhere,
Sure.
but well, let's be clear,
Oh, yeah.
they definitely went, let's make our own Superman.
Ah, yeah. And, of course, the court said, no, that is ridiculous. So, Captain Marvel wins. National keeps on suing them. And eventually Fawcett's like, you know what? We don't want to do anything with this. We're going to give you a couple $1,000s, and we will sign a contract stating we will never publish any, like, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel will never be made into anything ever again.
That is wild. Like, when was that?
That was 1945, I believe-ish.
So, like, is that still when it's, like, the most popular thing?
It's on the tail end of not being popular anymore.
Okay.
Like, it's still very popular, but it is this, like, it was this combo of the sales are doing worse and worse and worse, and also National keeps on suing us. So they're like, yeah, like, let's get out while we're ahead.
Yeah, sell high, give it to them.
They specifically said...
Well, for $1,000.
And also, they don't give it them. All Fawcett says is, we will not publish any more Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And all those characters not going to be published, but we keep all the rights to them.
Okay.
Meanwhile...
And you said it was for $1,000?
A couple thousands.
Okay.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in Britain, you got a British company who has the right to reprint Captain Marvel comics. But due to this lawsuits, Fawcett's no longer doing Captain Marvel. So they're like, okay, we are, like, Americans are never going to notice this. Let's just keep on doing Captain Marvel, but we're going to switch it around a little bit. They come up with a character called Marvel Man.
Okay.
So, he'll come up later. Just keep in mind, in the UK, you got Marvel Man.
Okay.
In America, Captain Marvel.
Gotcha.
In 1966, a small publisher called MF Enterprises also publishes Captain Marvel. Now, this Captain Marvel is an android, and his special ability is he can separate the parts of his body and, like, make them all fly around.
Okay.
They mostly wanted to do this because they were like, people love the name Captain Marvel. The name is super important.
Yeah.
So, Timely Comics becomes Marvel Comics around 1967, or exactly 1967. They are like, we are going to be Marvel Comics from now on. We are going to make a character called Captain Marvel. They do that. MF Enterprises put out their Captain Marvel first. Marvel Comics sues them. And the courts say, okay, you guys are Marvel Comics, so I think you're right. Your Captain Marvel is going to take precedence. MF Enterprises, you can't do Captain Marvel anymore. And they specifically award Marvel the trademark Captain Marvel. So now, they are the only company in America who can publish things that say on it Captain Marvel.
I cannot think of anything more American than being the second person to do something and suing the first person to do it for copying you.
Also, keep in mind, they're the third.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, after all this sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah. So
I mean, it's definitely like everybody in the world is sort of just acting like the stuff before didn't happen.
yeah.
Seems like the entire world was just shook hands and been like, we're just gonna ignore when we said we weren't gonna do this.
So, this also means the difference between trademark and copyright is very important here.
Sure.
With a trademark, you have to keep on using it, and if someone infringes on it, you have to defend it.
Mm-hmm.
With a copyright is for like a specific thing. So, Fawcett Comics still has the copyright for their character who is called Captain Marvel.
Right.
But because of their lawsuit with National, they can't publish anything with that. So, they could have tried to defend themselves, but because they can't legally put out anything called Captain Marvel, they weren't able to they weren't able to tell Marvel, no, we actually have that copyright.
Fuck.
Meanwhile, like, this is where Captain Marvel comes in.
Okay.
Marvel.
Oh, we gotta talk about that too.
Yeah.
I didn't fucking talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to do it now?
No. We'll save it. We'll save it.
Okay, so Captain Marvel is a male Kree officer who works for the Kree Empire. He comes to Earth. He realizes, Kree are bastards.
Really quick.
Yeah.
Do you know off the top of your head, like, when was the first time the Kree showed up in comics? Like, even if you don't know a year, like, what kind of story it was in?
I want to say it was like in the 60s. It was Fantastic Four stuff, I believe.
Okay.
Like, the Skrulls and the Kree are both, I believe they both debuted in Fantastic Four.
Gotcha. All right, continue.
But so Captain Marvel comes to Earth. He wants to defend the Earth from other aliens, also the Kree, but it is mostly like, I think for a brief period he was still like a part of the Kree Empire, protecting the Earth for the Kree.
Okay.
This is also when he meets Carol Danvers.
Blue Lives Matter, of course.
Of course.
No, they don't.
You better not blue line me.
No, they don't matter.
But Carol Danvers is just a human. She's just hanging out with him for like 10 years or so. Like, they just work on an Air Force base together.
Okay.
10 years after that, a psyche magnetron, which is a device that kind of just turns your thoughts into reality, explodes in front of her. It blasts her with a bunch of energy, which bounces off of Marvel, and it turns her into a half-Kree hybrid.
Okay.
Also, like, at this point, I believe Captain Marvel had a bunch of extra abilities that aren't Kree powers, like he could fly and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't have, like, the energy abilities that Carol has in this movie.
Okay.
So she becomes Ms. Marvel. She goes, she joins a magazine. I don't think it was Ms. Magazine. It was like a play on that. And she fights for women's rights.
Okay.
Marvel's Captain Marvel himself didn't really do very well. Like, he was fine. People liked him well enough, but he was never a big hit.
Yeah.
But they had to keep on putting out Captain Marvel.
Defend that trademark.
That is why there are 7 Captain Marvels. Because they kept on going, well, like, they did kill off the original at one point, and they made that, like, a big event and everything.
Yeah.
But they had to keep on doing it, Captain Marvel, or otherwise they would lose the trademark, which they needed to keep because they really liked the name Captain Marvel. Like, they did a bunch of weird stuff where, like, in the same way that you had a little kid about Billy Batson who could swap out with Shazam, they did a reference to that where Rick Jones, famous friend of the Hulk, once made a psychic, like, link with Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel was stuck in another dimension, and then they could swap when Rick was like, I summoned Captain Marvel! Meanwhile, as all these shenanigans are happening, DC's like, we need to improve our lineup. This is now the 70s. So, you know those guys we sued a while back because they had the most popular character in World War II?
Mm-hmm.
Let's make a deal with them. So they go back, and they're like, hey, Fawcett, I know you guys are out of the comic business, but you still have the rights to Captain Marvel. We need people. Please, let us have Captain Marvel. They make a contract of, specifically, like, every single page printed ever that features a Fawcett Comics character gets Fawcett Comics money. So it's not like a per issue.
Wow.
Like, it's not a per issue thing. It's not a per, like, publication thing. It is a per physical page printed. You have to pay us royalties.
Damn.
And DC was like, well, we need that money, and we know people love Captain Marvel, so we're going to agree to it. So Fawcett's now making fat stacks.
Which one of the Captain Marvels is this?
So this is the red guy Captain Marvel. This is the Billy Batson swaps with red guy. Pretty early on, also, DC decides to make the change of, actually, they don't swap. It is, like, Billy Batson gets this energy that turns him into his prime form. Like, he is Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Which is now also, like, I think that is the big trademark of the character in the modern day, is, like, he's this big, strong guy, but he has the brain of a child, and he acts like a child.
Like Shazam.
Yeah, like that. That is the Shazam we know and love.
Sure. I don't know much about Shazam, but I've seen like trailers of Shazam.
Now, the reason why they call him Shazam, they called him Shazam back at this point, like once DC made the deal with Fawcett's, because Marvel had the rights to the words Captain Marvel.
Right.
So they made a comic that was just titled Shazam. Originally, it was Shazam, the original Captain Marvel, and they got sued for that. So they're like, oh shit, no, gotta change it. It's just Shazam. And even on toys and stuff, it would be like a toy with Superman, Batman, and Captain Marvel would be written as Batman, Superman, Shazam. And it was just understood, like, he's the guy that comes when you yell Shazam, but his name is not Shazam.
Yeah.
Shazam was the wizard who gave Billy Batson the power to turn into this guy named Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I get it, though. I know.
And they did have the
It's
rights
hard.
to say the word, like, they could say Captain Marvel in the comics themselves.
It's not on like the cover.
Yeah, not on the cover, not on the toys, not on any, like, if you were to make a song, you had to say Shazam, like, if it was an official one.
Oh, boy.
He was originally just in, like, his own separate universe for a bit, where they were like, yeah, we're gonna just do this and see if it floats. It did really well. People really liked it.
Okay.
So they folded him into the main DC universe. And then later on, they just, like, Fawcett was absorbed by CBS. They just bought the rights directly from CBS.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Captain Marvel, the red guy, is now a DC Comics character.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Marvel, not popular, been killed off, gets replaced with another Kree guy, gets killed off, gets replaced by Monica Rambeau, gets killed off, gets replaced by, I believe, a Skrull who was brainwashed into believing he was Captain Marvel, gets killed off. There's one in between there, right, in Dark Reign, when Norman Osborn takes control of S.H.I.E.L.D. and turns into Hammer.
Okay.
There's a fake Captain Marvel there as well.
Boy, howdy.
They kind of just do a rotating, let's do some more Captain Marvels. We need to publish something.
Anything at all.
It's gotta be called Captain Marvel. Meanwhile, in Britain, small black and white comic publisher gets verbal consent from the guy who made Marvel Man. And they're like, people liked Marvel Man, right? Let's do some more Marvel Man. But oh no, this guy made Marvel Man, but we didn't know he was a ripoff of Captain Marvel, that guy from World War II. So, they get Alan Moore, famous comic book creator, beloved man, of crazy psychic man, to do a big definitive run of this character, who they then rename Miracle Man.
Okay.
So they don't get sued. Miracle Man becomes this very defining British comics book character.
Okay.
He's up there with like all of Alan Moore's other big stuff, like Watchmen, for instance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like people know Miracle Man. Miracle Man, very big.
Can't just say names for me. Like Alan Moore. I'm like, oh, no fucking idea.
Actually, right. He was still Marvel Man during the original revival. But when a American publisher named Eclipse Comics decided to buy it again, they were like, oh shit, wait a minute. This is just Captain Marvel. We gotta change the name. That was when he became Miracle Man.
Okay.
Neil Gaiman.
Do you know? Well, I heard the name. What did he do again?
He wrote Coraline. He wrote Sandman.
Okay, sure.
He starts writing it. Eclipse gets bought by Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn.
Gotcha.
Todd and Neil get into a lawsuit over 3 Spawn characters.
Oh, I'm very well aware of this.
I brought this one up around Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get into that. They get a split through the courts. Todd gets 2 characters. Neil gets 1.
Yep.
Neither of them got the characters they want. They switch.
Yeah.
In that lawsuit, Neil also tried to get the rights to Miracle Man.
Okay.
While that lawsuit's going on, Marvel's like, wait, Miracle Man? That's like Marvel Man, which is like Captain Marvel. They go to Britain. The guy who invented Marvel Man, remember, he gave verbal consents for this other studio to take Marvel Man, make him Miracle Man. He never signed a contract. So
Okay.
Marvel goes to that guy and says, hey, we want Marvel Man.
Okay.
They get it down in writing. Marvel now bypasses that lawsuit and just owns Miracle Man now.
Fucking, this is it's so hard to keep track of.
So
I feel like I'm rewatching Captain Marvel.
So Marvel now owns Miracle Man, who is his own separate continuity.
Yeah.
They also own Captain Marvel, the Kree character, who then dies and is replaced by 6 other Captain Marvels.
Yeah.
DC owns Captain Marvel, only known as Shazam.
Yeah.
But his name is Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
DC and Marvel have a ton of tiny little spats. Like, it never goes to a big court case, because they both want to keep their characters and their stuff. But there's little, like, hey, you better not say he's Captain Marvel in this crossover, or, we might just pull out the lawyers.
Oh my god. Comics industry just sees like a bunch of children.
There's a lot of wild stuff. It's a lot of kids with toys.
Yeah, that's really what it feels like. Every time you talk about the comics industry, it just feels like a bunch of fucking children with their toys arguing, bullying each other.
Basically what it is. So, 2011 rolls around. DC does a big universal reboot of their stuff. And as part of this reboot, they're like, we don't want to keep on doing this fight, so we are going to be the big guys here. We're going to just rename Captain Marvel to Shazam.
Okay.
Like, his name is now just Shazam. They also, like, play around with it. Like, they add in a little thing where, like, Shazam can split his power between 6 people, so they can do the thing that's...
They originally wanted
to do. Like, they have some fun with that, and then Marvel's like, okay, you guys are done? If you guys are done, we have Miracle Man. He's gonna stay in his own little thing. We're not putting him into our worlds. Alan Moore also made it canon that Miracle Man was based on Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Like, he was a guy who read Captain Marvel comics when he was younger, and that's why he developed this specific power set.
Gotcha.
So they're like, we can't integrate that. That's just gonna go over there. They finally decide, okay, Carol Danvers has been doing really well this entire time. People like Ms. Marvel a lot.
Okay.
And they don't treat her the best. There's some real fucked up shit with Ms. Marvel. I don't want to get into that.
We'll get into it later.
Yeah. But they do decide, okay, now is the time. We're going to do a definitive Captain Marvel. We don't have to, defend it with lawsuits anymore. We're going to make Carol Danvers the Captain Marvel. And they also completely redesign her. Like, her main thing was, like, sort of a black swimsuit with a sash on it. They make her basically what she is in the movie, except she still has the sash in the comics.
Okay.
In the movie, they just kind of give up on that. They're like, no, it's going to be more military-esque.
Yeah.
They also give her a mohawk, which is why all the Kree suits do the mohawk thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just hers.
The others do it if they have long enough hair.
Okay.
Like the one Lady Kree, for instance, also has a black mohawk. Like when it suits up like that.
Gotcha.
But in the comics, it is just she has a mohawk now and she likes it, and so she has redesigned her helmet so that it pops out.
Yeah. It's a cool look. I like it so much more than the normal uniform.
Yeah, and so they've been doing a lot of like, this is going to be our definitive, this is Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where she is now. Like, people like her, people hate her. It's a mix. She's kind of fascist. I mean, she is still a military pilot.
Yikes.
There's a lot of like she's on the wrong side in Civil War II.
Yikes.
Tony's the good guy in that one.
Yikes. Oh, Yankees. Oh, well, that was a hell of a lot. I'm glad I know it all now.
Also, when Captain Marvel 2019 came out, Shazam also came out that same year.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also why a lot of people started talking about it, because it was like, this is the battle of the Captain Marvels. But this is, after Marvel and DC have both made moves to say, like, we're not going to keep doing this anymore, but we will still put out our movies in the same year.
Well, I'm curious as to what they're going to do going forward with this, because, like, she's just Carol Danvers. Like, the movie is named after her fucking mentor.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know what we're gonna do going forward. And also how they would market it. Because it's not like they're gonna market... I assume they wouldn't market it as Captain Marvel 2. That'd be real weird if there's Captain Marvel 2 and there's no Captain Marvel in it.
I mean, I do think that they're going for the... Even if we don't say it, you know who this is.
But there's nothing connecting it.
Mm-hmm.
She's not Captain. She's not Marvel. She's not Marvel.
Yeah.
She's not... There's no part of Mar or Vel in any, like...
You're right. Like...
All the talk about, like, like Marvel, like Captain Marvel, is about Marvel, not her.
Yeah.
So, like, canonically, in universe, like, if they wanted to do that, they could have very easily done I'm going to take up the name, but I will be Marvel instead of Marvel.
Right.
Whatever, like... But, and she's not like a captain or anything, so...
You're right. That's a weird one.
I don't know what they're doing, but... Yeah. We'll see.
Like, this is the kind of thing that's the MCU has been doing a lot more, especially with villains. Like, famously, the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming, where they never call him that.
Yeah.
They call him Adrian, like, once in the movie. They call him Toomes, like, twice.
Yeah, and then in the credits, they're like, yeah, here's the Vulture.
Yeah. But that's fine, because also it's a minor character. Like, if they did a Vulture movie, it would be a big, like, what? They never called him that. You better do a big name drop in the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas you're right, like, no one really calls her Captain Marvel in this movie.
Yeah.
And there's no real reason for it.
I don't get it.
Like, a lot of the movie has the stink of, like, we thought a lot about it, and we thought so hard about it, that our solutions are, like, 7 moves removed from, like,
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is 7th dimensional chess.
It is. They put so much thought in this movie, but they didn't, think about how people were going to,
Yeah.
view it. Because they're just so bogged with all the information they already have thinking
Yeah.
of the movie. Anyway, that's it. We're done. The Endgame coming out in 2 weeks, okay?
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Bye-bye.